I'm Bill Stevenson, News Director for iFiber One News. We've asked 60 candidates running for 30 Grant County elections to join us to talk about the issues. Not all of them agreed to be with us. But today we're going to talk about the candidate for office of mayor for Soap Lake. Raymond Gravelle joins us to talk about the issues. His opposition, Phil Wick, declined our offer. How are you doing today, Raymond?
Doing great, Bill. Thank you for inviting me here.
Let's start off with just if you can explain a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run for mayor of Soap Lake.
Well, I'm running again because I feel I've accomplished, and the city has accomplished a great deal in the last 4 years, and we've got a lot more planned for the next 4 years. We're very excited, but it has been a great opportunity and an honor to serve the citizens of Soap Lake for these past 4 years. And I hope they choose to keep me around for the next 4.
Okay. After the election, what do you think would be the most important thing to improve about Soap Lake?
Well, we need to continue what has been started, and that's improving our streets, our infrastructure. We need to continue to stay focused on improving the economic future of Soap Lake. It's been in decline for years. For the first time in the last 5 years, we feel we've turned a corner. We're seeing some upticks in the revenues and looking forward to seeing more of that. A lot of that has to do with tourism, so we'll stay focused on that as well.
All right. And what sort of experience do you have that helps you be the mayor of Soap Lake now and will help you to become the mayor again after this election?
Well, if you asked me that 4 years ago, I'd have said absolutely none except my corporate background and project management experience. But now, after 4 years, I like to think it took 2 years to figure out what a mayor does and how they can do it effectively. And we've seen some tremendous results in the community in the last 2 years, including the downtown revitalization project. And for the next 4 years, we want to continue to see more grant funding coming in. We're working on an extensive park plan update. It's a 15-year-old plan. We're updating that. We expect that we'll be able to obtain several $1 million in grants in the next few years.
All right. One topic with government that's important for us at the news is open government. Can you help explain how you see the role of open government works for you in Soap Lake?
By open government, I assume you mean transparency, where citizens feel that not only are they participating in government, but they also have a clear vision of what government is trying to do for them. I think we've taken some significant steps in that arena in opening up our process for planning. A good example is the downtown project. We had several public meetings, invited the public to come in, give their input. That was guided by the Washington State University Rural Communities Design Initiative team, collected all of that information, digested it, put it back up for prioritization by the citizens, and then that ended up as a final design for the engineers and to present to the council for final approval. So that's all part of an open government, and I think that we can continue to do more to let more people know about that process. Right now we have, I've mentioned the park plan, updating that 15-year-old park plan. Well, we've already held one meeting for the public where they can come in, and they gave just a tremendous amount of input. Again, WSU was leading that conversation, and now we're going to have another meeting here in just a few more weeks to get that prioritized, all those different ideas prioritized. And we want as many people from all parts of the community for that kind of input. Another part of transparency, I think, that was lacking and is continuing to improve now is the budget. Understanding a city budget is a pretty complicated process. And I know our finance officer has been looking at other communities and bringing back samples and ideas for me to review and for the council to approve, and how we present the budget so it makes a little bit more sense for the average person.
All right. You spoke about the downtown revitalization project.
Yeah.
How do you feel it's gone so far, and is there one component in particular you like better than the rest?
Wow, that's a tough question because I like the whole thing, of course. The LED lighting was selected by our past resident, Brent Blake. And so I like to think that he's continuing to shine down on our community with his beaming smile. I like the the overall design that was meant to slow traffic down, particularly the tourist traffic. They feel safer. The pedestrians, we made extra wide sidewalks, so we've already noticed a lot more pedestrians are using our sidewalks because they feel safer. We've used the bulb outs to narrow the crossing distance so that they feel safe going back and forth. And now we just need to get more people into the community and more tourists.
So what do you think should be the next component to the revitalization project?
Well, we've got to work on our infrastructure. The community has, we just put together a sewer plan. We have the funding for that. We've put cameras in all of our sewers. That data is at the engineers. What the outcome of that will be, and that was a $24,000 curb grant that the city obtained, is to be able to have a sewer plan and knowing how much of our sewers need to be replaced. And we're assuming it's going to be most of them because it is ancient infrastructure. So we start working on that infrastructure underneath the streets, and then the same funding agency, the Transportation Improvement Board, TIB, that gave us the money for the downtown, will start funding resurfacing the rest of our streets. But we've got to focus on that infrastructure. So that's a big challenge, finding the millions of dollars that are going to be needed to replace that so we continue to make the kind of improvements that we made in our downtown project.
All right. So can you share your thoughts on the vote coming up to annex Soap Lake into Grant County Fire District 7?
This is much needed, and I hope that I encourage the citizens to vote in favor of that, combining the fire departments, basically where Grant County Fire District 7, who's just across the highway from Soap Lake, actually becomes our fire protection provider, and they also have an aid car. So the advantages to all citizens that are in Grant County District 7 is they're going to have a larger base to receive funding for. For the citizens of Soap Lake, they're going to get better service because they have better training, better equipment at 7. They also have an aid car, which the city does not. So when there's that emergency heart attack or that critical, those kind of emergencies where those first few minutes are so critical, we'll now have an aid car there to help stabilize and prepare a patient for transfer when the ambulance, when AMR comes in. So that the other component that is of greatest concern to the council is the unlimited liability that the city has whenever other fire departments come in and provide assistance to our fire department to put a fire out. We get a bill for that. And because we're not part of the interlocal agreement with these other communities anymore, they don't have any confidence in our firefighters, that provides an unlimited financial exposure to the city. And we need to stop that by having this annexation go through.
Thank you. You spoke briefly about the water and sewer project. Can you elaborate on how you'd like to see those come about and take place? The improvements?
I wish I had the answers to that. I'm researching it. I've actually asked the city attorney and the city engineers to provide me with some templates, if you will, or some information on how small communities like Soap Lake go out and find the millions of dollars of funding to make those replacements. Where do they get the money? Do they do it with a bond? Do they do it with a levy? We know that the grants and the loans, the grants are far and few between. The loans have to be paid back. How is that financed? Those are things that we need to bring together very soon. And that's one of the things I hope we have those questions answered by the end of this year so that we can start going after whatever funding options make the most sense for our little town.
And how do you see improving the accessibility of Soap Lake water from the lake to city businesses?
Improving the accessibility. So we had the problem where half of the system was turned off because of a rupture.
Right.
There is no money in the Soap Lake Mineral Water Fund. It actually costs the city several thousands of dollars out of pocket each year to operate that system. Our primary users that we made sure still had access to that mineral water were the hotels. And that continues to be a priority, and we'll do whatever we can. But right now, I don't have any information back from the Mineral Water Committee that would give us some suggestions and recommendations to answer.